Hi there, I'm Gary and I'm the physics teacher here at Bede. I've been doing physics all my life. I've got a degree in theoretical physics from York and I've been teaching physics for about 7 years in both sixth forms and secondary schools. So it's a subject I really love and I've been involved with it for a long time. If you come and do an A-level in physics, you'll be studying a number of different topics, some of which you might have almost never seen before. We'll go straight into a lot of detail, trying to answer some of the most difficult questions in physics at the moment. What is matter at the smallest level? Why is there such a problem with waves and particles? And linking this into some of the radiation and some of the particles you've done before. In this subject, I'll probably unwind a lot of things you've been taught that might not be quite true as well. Sometimes there are a lot of simplifications at GCSE. We'll then have a topic on waves, and waves are really important and they appear all over the world, so we'll do a lot of study on how they work and where we find them. We have a section on mechanics, materials, and there's a lot of practical work in this as well to do with testing materials and the ways engineers work in terms of working out how structures can be built. And we also have a section on electricity, and we'll do a lot of circuit building, we'll do a lot of practice with that, but also advancing your mathematical skills in all of those topics, quite a long way from where you've been before. How we'll learn varies a lot depending on what we're doing on the day. There are 12 required practicals in physics where we'll have to independently research our methods, come in ready to do a practical, manage your own safety requirements, and collect results and process those results. And you get a long time to do your investigations and get used to your equipment and set those things up. Day to day, a lot of our lessons will involve little bits of lecturing, some videos. I have a lot of simulations and animations I tend to use. And a lot of our work is collaborative and discussion based as well, because there's a lot of thinking about complicated concepts we have to really tease out in discussion. And of course, there'll be a bit of exam practice, a lot of calculation practice. And I'll always be asking you to bring your calculators and data sheets in because there's a lot of equations to use. How we'll be assessed happens in two parts. There's exams and there's a practical assessment. If you do a 1-year course, which is an AS, you'll do 2 exams at the end of that. Those exams will add up to make your AS. If you stay on and do the 2-year A-level course, we'll forget about those first-year exams you did, and then you'll do 3 bigger exams at the end of the second year, and those will make your A-level. In addition to that, there's a separate practical assessment. That constitutes 12 required practicals that we do throughout the 2 years. And that assessment is not graded, it's just done on a pass or a fail, and every single one of those I'll coach you in a lot of detail about how to do the best you can. And you also don't have to be passing it from the start. It's just something we have to demonstrate by the end that you have some practical skills, and it's 2 separate components. So why should you join us here at Bede? Well, I think you'll find the culture here at Bede is very different from a secondary school you've been to. We're a little more relaxed, we're a little more free in our time in terms of how we spend our time talking to each other. And I try to make as much time as I can to have conversations online with people about questions they're doing, revision they're doing. And I always like to be in touch with people about how they're doing. You'll find our classes are really open, really friendly. We tend to get on with each other quite well, and we tend to have quite lively discussions a lot of the time. Physics is a very highly academic subject. It's respected by any university, and it's really useful for your future progress. And there's a lot of different directions you could go in from that. Future directions you could go in. Of course, a lot of our students go on to do science degrees in physics, engineering, and chemistry. Physics is also very useful if you're interested in programming, particularly something like meteorology is very programming based, or even computer games where there's always a need for physicists to design gaming engines. And it's also a useful course if you want to do anything that's heavily analytic or has a significant mathematical component. Okay, so you need to have an average GCSE score of over 5.5 throughout your whole set of grades, so that's the minimum. And really to get on physics, we'd want to see at least a grade 6 or 7. 7 would be ideal in science. Some people will be accepted on a 6 on a sort of trial basis, which we review in the first 3 weeks of term and decide if this really is the course for you or not. If not, there are alternatives. Some people like to swap over to applied science, which is just a bit more hands-on, a bit more practical course, has a lot more experiments and practical skills in it. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in September.